Hey everyone, and welcome back to Silverrun Forest for the next episode in our Let's Play series. So we are now into October, which has been a very rainy start. So we're 11:15 in the mid-morning, or late morning I should say. It is just about due to switch to being sunny. So our first job will be to get one of the new fields we ploughed in last time spread with lime, then we can get that planted with barley. So hopefully by the time we get over there, the rain will have stopped and we can get on with that. Okay, now the rain has cleared, we can get our barley, well, our lime spread first and our barley. We're going to do the furthest field away, so this one. So let's get this switched on and get the lime spread. Okay, that's the lime spreading done. We won't do the other field until next year before we're ready to plant it, as there's quite a lot I want to try and get done today, and there's a project I want to start work on as well, which may take a couple of episodes to do. So we'll go and switch over to the planter, or the seed drill actually, and then we can get the barley planted, sown in that field. And then we're also going to put grass into the field nearest the sheep pasture just over there, so we can get the grass grown in that field as well. And then once that's done, we need to just go over the barley field with a set of rollers to remove the small stones and then just bed in the actual barley seed. And then we can get on with the next project I've got planned for this map, which I'll talk about a little bit more when we get to that point. So if we just quickly drop off the spreader. I'll drop that one off and then we'll get the seed drill hooked up. I think there should be plenty of seed and fertiliser in it. There is a partial bag there if need be. Yeah, I did top it up. So we'll set that to barley, otherwise I always forget. And then hopefully we can... I don't know if actually this seed drill is going to fit over the bridge. That may be a... something I didn't consider when I put the bridge in actually, was the width of the bridge compared to this. So yeah, I think we may struggle a little bit here, we'll see. Yeah, I don't think this is quite going to go across. Well, it did, but not the way it should have done. That's one thing I completely overlooked when I put that bridge in, was the fact that this is a fixed width. So anyway, let's get this barley planted, and then I say it's just a case going over the rollers, and then that's all the work on this field done today. Okay, so that's the barley all done, just this little bit, and we are done. So that's this field done apart from the rolling. So one thing I do need to just quickly check is, I'll switch this to grass because I'm going to go and do the grass in the other field. Okay, last little bit of rolling to do, and that's this field all done then, barring 2 more rounds of fertiliser. We'll do one once we get to the first growth stage with the sprayer, and then the other one in the spring when we get to the next growth stage after that. The grass is all planted as well, so that's all done, and I'm using the not all crops require rolling mod, so we don't need to roll the grass field. So it is literally just the barley, so that is done, so we can get that folded up. just will double check I haven't missed any bits. Pretty sure I haven't, but it's difficult to tell with the rolling, as sometimes from certain angles the texture changed is not great. So yeah, a couple of little bits, but I'm not going to worry too much about those. All the stones have gone anyway. I know I've got rid of all the stones, so more or less that's the main thing. Just to prevent any damage to our header when we come to harvest it, we want to get these stones out of the way. So say next job will be to do a little bit more grass cutting on a new area of land we're going to buy, and then we can use that land for a project which I've been talking about but not actually said what it is. I did briefly mention poplars. So it's something I did on Wilhelmina Forest. For anybody that did watch that on FS19, I had an area of forestry and poplars where I had rows of poplars in between saplings of trees. So it makes use of the area, so you can get tree saplings in, and then in between the tree saplings you get the wasted space usually. So I put rows of field in, so ploughed in fields and then planted them in poplars, so I could then harvest those in between, and then when those were done and the trees were ready I could just take out the trees and then replant the saplings. So that's what I want to do on this map, as poplars are worth actually doing on this map. Well, I don't know if that's changed in FS in general now. So we're going to buy area 41, which I think will be a really nice area to use for this project. So it's 50,771, so we'll purchase that. But before we do the planting and get the saplings in, I want to make use of the grass. We've got plenty of hay, so this time we'll do it for silage, which we then can sell. And that should then probably cover the cost of buying that land when we come to sell the silage. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to use our mower to do this, because I don't really want to spend, I can't see it's bad, don't want to spend money on getting another mower set up when this one's more than adequate for what we need. So it's going to take a little bit longer, but we may as well use what we've got. But I may use or lease a all-in-one bale wrapper to do the baling and wrapping, just because I don't fancy using the second, or leasing a wrapper. I think will cost probably just as much as getting the all-in-one bale wrapper. Okay, so here's our new area of land. So it's a decent size, and we should get quite a lot of rows of poplars and then saplings in between. So we'll cut as much of the grass as we can. And it'll make most of this area then. And I say, as poplars do have a good sell price, it does very much seem worth actually doing poplars now. Previously, the price for poplars to the amount you actually get from them, in terms of wood chips you get from them, has always been not worth the time and effort. I did them on no man's land because I was doing the every base game crop and production animal type on no man's land. So I wanted to do poplars as they are a base game crop. That's pretty much the only reason why I did do them on there. Yeah, now they actually seem more worthwhile doing. And this is more a forestry style map. It seems a good time to put them in, so they can start growing then for next year. So yeah, we'll get all the grass cut first, and then get rowed up, baled, get the bales moved out of the way, and then we can crack on with getting the strips put in and saplings planted and poplars planted. last little bit of grass to do, and that's another job done. So then it's just a case of getting this road up, and then we'll get the baler leased, and then we can get it all baled and wrapped. I will just quickly check first to see what the price difference is between the baler and a wrapper. So we quickly just go in the store. So we've got the square baler, so we'd have to get the... Oh, we could get an Anderson one, but I don't really want to do an inline one because that would mean taking the bales somewhere else to get them out of the way. So that'd be 54,000. And we can do up to the 220 centimetre ones with this. So to lease, that'll cost 2,754. But that obviously would require us baling separate, then going around again afterwards to wrap the bales. So round balers, one that bale wrapper, we've got this one that does the 150s. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot more expensive. Yeah, 5,074. So that's going to be quite a lot more to lease that one. But it would save us a little bit of time. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty much double to lease that. I don't think there's really any other options. Everything else is getting a little bit more expensive. So cheaper option will be to lease the bale wrapper and do them separately. The quicker option would be to lease the round bale wrapper. I'll have a decide while I go and get the windrow and get this road up. I'll have a think about which way I want to go. It depends how much time I've got. Okay, so the rowing's all done, and I went with the Pottinger. I was thinking about everything. It is pretty much twice the amount to lease. But then it's going to be a lot quicker to do. We're going to make quite a bit of money from the silage when we come to sell it, so it's not as if we're going to really lose out on paying that bit of extra. And also with this being all in one as well, I say maybe that a little bit quicker may keep the leasing costs down, so we won't get an extra on top of it. So just check we have got the bale counter on. Yep. So we'll see how many bales we make. So I'm doing the 150 centimetres, which is the slightly larger bales. So we should get a decent amount. There is quite a bit of grass on here. So when we come to sell these in a few months' time, we'll probably look January time, which I think is usually the best price for silage as well. So we should hopefully make enough to cover the cost of the land, and the leasing cost of the baler will more than cover, so it's not going to be too much of an issue. So I'm going to get all this baled, wrapped, and then I'll need to decide the best way to get the bales moved off the field so we can get them out of the way, and then we can start ploughing in the strips for the poplars. Okay, so we're coming up to the last strip of grass to do, and this is probably our final bale we'll get off this field. I don't know if we'll get enough grass to complete another one, but we'll see. We may get really close, probably end up with like 100 litres short. There is a little bit of grass, like some tiny little bits I've missed, where it was just slightly too wide for it to pick up. So it depends how close we get. Oh, we might just get another one out. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we're definitely not going to get another one out, so I'm not even going to bother going around trying to pick up all the rest of the grass. If it was our own baler and it'd stay in there, then it'd be worth it. But as it's a lease baler, it's going to be returned. It's not worth the diesel to go around and pick up probably about 30 litres of grass. So that's the last bale off, which takes up to 35 bales in total. So 35 bales at 5,500 litres. I'm going to have to quickly work this out. So 35 by 5,500 is 192,500 litres of silage. So if we do 190 2.5. Best price for silage is 330 roughly on this map. So that means we'll make around about 63,525 off that. Which again, that covers the cost of buying the land and also the lease of the baler, so that's not too bad. So next job, we need to get the bales moved. I think the quickest way of doing that will be to get one of the bale collectors. So we'll probably lease the Anderson bale collector, get the bales picked up and put somewhere out of the way while they ferment, and then we can get on with actually getting the strips ploughed in and also the tree saplings planted. Right, so we lease the Anderson bale stacker, or bale collector, so we can fit 24 on here, so we don't quite have enough for 2 loads. We've got 35, so we're gonna have to do 1 load with 11 on, 1 full load. I'm gonna drop these off right next to the Silverrun market, as it's the only place we can actually sell the silage on this map currently, and there's plenty of space there as well, so it saves us putting them somewhere else and having to pick them back up and then transport them again. We'll drop them off by the Silverrun market, so when they are ready, we can just then load them straight into the sell point with the bale spikes. That'll save us a little bit of time. And then the next thing we need to get is a plough. We obviously do have one, but it's not the correct width for what I want to do for all the strips. So the strips I want to put in are 6 meter wide, which is the same width as the lizard poplar header for the forage harvester, which is a 6 meter working width. That way then we're not going to be wasting any space, and we're making the most efficient use of the header, meaning that in one pass we can get the whole row. If we was to do them slightly wider, we'd be coming back down the other way with only a couple of meters worth of poplars. So doing it 6 meters makes full use of the header each pass of on each row. So we're going to do 6 meters strips, and they'll be planted up with poplars. And then for the spacings for the actual tree saplings, we're going to do 10 meters. So we'll have 1 row of tree saplings, and then 10 meters after that we'll have the next row, and then with the 6 meter strip of poplars in between. That'll leave like 2 meters either side then of the strips of poplars to the center of the tree saplings. So that should work out quite nicely. So each area of tree saplings will be a 4 meter strip with the tree saplings in the middle, then 6 meter strip of poplars and 4 meter strip of the tree saplings, and then so on. We'll fit as many as we can across this field. We'll go parallel with the fence at that far end where the building is for the sawmill, as that's on a 90-degree rotation. We'll leave a slight headland at the ends so we've got enough room to turn with the tree harvester and also the forage harvester when we do come to harvest the poplars. So last bale, and also we'll get these over to the Silverrun market and dropped out the way, and I'll get the next 11 over there as well, and then we can lease the plough and get the strips ploughed in. Okay, so all the bales have been moved off the field now. They're all over at Silverrun market waiting to ferment, and then we'll sell those. So what we need to do next is get a plough. So I'm going to go with the 6MT from Black Sheep Modding, as it's obviously 6 meters wide and that works perfectly for what I want to do. The horsepower requirement is 260, which is a little bit more than what our John Deere currently has. So I'm hoping this won't struggle too much. We can put it on backwards. I know it does work backwards. I keep getting told by a lot of people it works backwards. I'm just going to lease this because we're literally only going to use it this one time. And the next thing we'll get is the tree planter, and we'll buy this because we're going to use it quite a bit to do the poplars, and then every time we need to replant the tree saplings. So we go forestry. We're just going to get the standard in-game Damcom, and we'll buy this for 26,000. Now, as in the tree saplings, if you go combinations, it doesn't show the new pallets, but I've been reliably informed that it does actually work with the new pallets. So if we go tree saplings, because these are the base game ones, but there isn't, the new trees aren't available to select that way, so we need to get the more expensive pallet, which I think is the most expensive thing in here. Not quite. And I'm going to go with the logepole pine. So that's going to be 12,000, so we'll purchase that. We also need some poplars as well, which I'm not sure how many we'll need. Where's the poplar pallet? Probably gone past it, or I haven't gone far enough. There we go. So it's 2,000 litres for each one. I think we'll get one for now, and we can always buy another one if need be, because they do go quite far. So yeah, the next job's going to be to trying to think which is the best way to do it. Let's maybe to put the first row of tree saplings in first, and then we can work off that for where the plowed section is going to be for the poplars. So if we get the tree planter hooked up first. Right, so what we're going to do is start off this end and come parallel to this fence, which does look like it's running at 90 degrees or like perfectly parallel. So we want to leave a little bit of headland, and I think that's enough space from the fence for the first row. So I'm going to set the enhanced vehicle control mod, switch that on. I'm going to switch it to lanes, and then I'm going to manually adjust to 10 meters. If I can remember how to do it, I think it's shift plus. There we go. So we'll set this at 10 meters. So we've got 10 meter width between each row of tree saplings. We'll get that switched on. And away we go. Interested to see what these saplings, yeah, they do come out little diddy things. And I think this automatically does 10 meters. I know on FS19 you could change the actual spacing of the trees. Don't think that's an option now, or at least I've not seen on a FS22. So I think they are 10 meters, so they're roughly going to be 10 meters by 10 meters each way. So then in the middle of each strip we'll do 6 meters of plowed section. So again, we don't want to come too close to the fence. We do want to leave a little bit of room for turning, and also we need to be able to load up the logs. So if we probably do one more sapling. There we go. So that should be plenty of room to turn. So I'm going to do the next row of, which will be 10 meters. So it's very difficult to see these these tree saplings. So okay, I want to try and roughly find out where that first one is, which is just there. So if we try and come, we can come a little bit further down each time because that fence is not straight. So we'll go from there and we'll work our way back up. So that'll be the first 2 rows of tree saplings planted. So what I'll do, I'll go and grab the plow, and then we can get the strips ploughed in. Now I know the centres for those, and then I can come back in and get the rest of the tree sapling planted in between each one, and then we'll just continue working our way across the field, making the most of this area. Okay, so we got the plough on. Now we just need to work out how to get the centre of the rows of tree saplings. So if I set this on so I know where I am. So this is the first row we did. Now if I change that to we want to go half of that, so if I change that to, just turn the engine off, change this to 5 meters, that should then put us on the next row in the middle between those two. I'll turn that back on. hopefully this this works out okay. I may actually just turn the lines on if I can remember. Yes, the trouble is I can't remember the controls for the menu for the enhanced vehicle control. It's been a while since I've used it. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I'm gonna go that. No, that's going back over to that one. I think that's because I accidentally switched row. Right. Yeah, where's the tree sapling? So there's the first tree sapling. So if we come around about there. Hello, create fields. See how well this will fall. And we'll just see if we can see. Yeah, there's tree sapling there, so that looks perfect. Equal either side. So if we do then every other row, and then it should work out fine for getting the 6 metre strips in between each row of poplars, saplings. So we don't want to come too close to the fence because we want to leave enough room for turning. So I'll probably bring it to there. So we want to come at the centre of the next 5, which should work out. I set that back on. This one we could probably come a little bit further, but not too much. You can just about see the saplings, so we are now perfectly in between. So we'll just continue working our way across the field now, in between each row, and get as many of these strips in as we can. So then next time we'll get all these planted up with poplars, and then when we do come to harvest them, we can just do one strip in one pass with the 6 metre poplar header. Okay, so this will be the last little strip we put in. I don't think it'll be worth doing another one after this. There won't be much room as to the edge of the road. So that'll be all the strips done. And as you can see, it's looking like a nice stripy field. The ends aren't all perfect. Some are slightly a bit longer than others. But I've kind of roughly got them, leaving a reasonable amount of room so we can turn around. So we'll leave that as the last strip. I mean, we could possibly, we'll get one more. It'll be a short one, but we should be able to fit one more in. So let's turn that back on. It won't be a particularly long strip, but it'll make most of this little corner. Yeah, we'll call that the last one. So we're still on nice spacing, so all the saplings are dead centre to each strip. And we'll leave that one there. So I should have turned stones off before I did that because they're just annoying. I don't mind them in the other fields because we'll go over with them rollers anyway to get rid of those. But yeah, these ones I think they're still small stones, so we could still get rid of them. But yeah, that's all the, I'll say, kind of like an agroforestry area. But we'll have poplars and the tree saplings. So what we'll do with the tree saplings is once they're fully grown, we won't completely harvest them all at once. We'll probably do 2 or 3 strips of tree saplings, then replant those, and then a few months later do the next 2 or 3 strips, replant those, and then work our way across. So then every few months after that, then we'll always have a supply of fully grown trees, kind of in a staggered state. So once they're fully grown, we'll have all of them, but then we can just take what we need, replant as we go, and then once they're all done, the first lot that we harvested may be then ready to harvest again, and then we'll have that continual supply of lumber. And the poplars as well, obviously we'll have to wait until they've been harvested, because we don't want to damage them by potentially driving over them to get the trees. So it'll be a case of once their tree saplings are fully grown and the poplars have been harvested, then we can come in and take the first lot of tree saplings out, and then go from there. So we'll see how that goes. I say it's a similar thing I did on Wilhelmina Forest, for anybody that remembers that series, or if you haven't watched it. It's something I should have done on No Man's Land as well, because when you're doing the 10-metre spacings, you do get a bit wasted land in between. So this kind of makes the most of that. So we'll have a nice supply of wood chips from the poplars, and then lumber from the tree saplings when they're ready. So we'll leave this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's given you a few ideas as well for yourself. Some of you may have already done this on this area of land, or on the other area of land as well. If not, then might be something you could give a go and see how it turns out for you. So yeah, a big thank you to everyone that's watched. Again, I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. We've got more Farm Simulator 22 content coming up, with the Let's Play series, time lapses, and also the live streams as well. So again, a big thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.